This goes for business owners, entrepreneurs, people who have side hustles, content creators, anybody really.
You gotta set a vision today of where we want to be in 5-10 years.
Welcome to Create to Live podcast, the podcast where social media meets business and big dreams turn into bigger results.
Whether you're an entrepreneur, content creator, or a 9-to-5er, building your side hustle, you're in the right place.
Each week, we bring you actionable tips, inspiring stories, and insider strategies to help you grow your brand, monetize your passions, and create the success you seek. We are your hosts, Sherelle from Blue Wall Media
And Davon from Booker Consulting.
Together, let's create the life you want to live. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Create to Live podcast. I'm your host, Sherelle.
And I'm your host, Davon, Booker Consulting. I'm excited to be here today. So today we have a great podcast today. Today we talking about the one and only MrBeast. So
if you don't know who MrBeast is, he is known as an American YouTuber, James Stephen Jimmy Donaldson, and his
first name is James?
James,
no
yes,
way.
Yes. And fun fact, actually, he started his YouTube channel when he was 13 years old, and his YouTube name was MrBeast. I think it was 007 or 006. So he's now on there as MrBeast, like just straight up that. But his original username was MrBeast006.
Let me see, how old is he now?
He is now 26 years old.
So 13 years.
13 years ago.
I wanted to start my YouTube channel in one day.
He said in one day. So what we're talking about in this episode is actually focusing on how a 13-year-old can teach us about success in business and social media, as well as starting with a vision. When it comes to MrBeast's rise to fame, rise to becoming now a global phenomenon, I think it's really important for us to look back through his journey as far as when it comes to how he started. He started when he was 13 years old, just doing Minecraft videos. And his first video, he started the channel in February 2012, but he didn't have his first viral video until 2017.
So let's talk about that. 5 years. Are you even dedicated to stay into something for 5 years? Forget y'all. Let's ask us. Are we going to do this podcast for 5 years? The only way to do something for 5 years straight is we got to set a vision today of where we want to be in 5-10 years, right? Because right now, I feel like our vision right now is just to post these podcasts and hope for the best.
That's your vision?
I mean, right now, I'm like, I don't got no 5-year plan for the podcast.
Plot twist, because I definitely
She told me. She
have
said,
some plans.
So we want to go to different restaurants.
Giving those restaurants a chance to be able to be interviewed, whether it's the owner or the worker there, as well as promoting an actual food place or even a hotel. There's any kind of business, because our show is about businesses and social media. And by using our platform, our podcast, we would go into businesses and actually talk to them. And it'd be kind of like, in a sense, a live coaching while also a live conversation type of thing, or recorded conversation and recorded consulting that can help both them as a business, but also they can give advice to other business owners to be inspired.
See, I told you, that's why I asked her first, because you see how passionate she got?
5-year plan, I guess.
She talked for 5 minutes just on that statement.
Oh, please.
So I appreciate that. So I want y'all to remember that. But you see how she got these big goals and dreams? But first, I always say we gotta create value. These restaurants and business, they not gonna let us. They gonna say y'all paying until we create value. I think to piggyback off of that, like if we could bring a crowd into the restaurant, like we have a live audience. Be like, hey, we got 10 to 15 people that are a live audience with us. It's going to bring business. I think that would be really cool. Like, today we at the Hilton, and they set it up a podcast, have merch, have a photographer or a videographer, and that'd be one of our streams of income.
So that's what we're talking about. Like, that's one of the main tips, is to have a vision for why you're creating and what your end goal is. And something that I like what you were saying when it comes to like MrBeast is he had a vision. he wanted to help people. He didn't know like how that would happen, but he knows like he wanted to help people. He wanted to have a game show. That was something that like he always did. He started out with Minecraft. Now he can build a whole Minecraft production and it'd be a game show.
He actually built a Wally Wonka.
Willy Wonka, not a Wally Wonka.
Wally World?
Willy Wonka. That's Walmart.
He built the Willy Wonka whole like
factory.
And
had a whole game show about it. And I actually just watched a video literally yesterday when I was like getting prepared for this episode, and it was like really insane to me. I'm like, wow, he really just used money or had sponsors just so he could have a game show and say, okay, I'm selling this to you. And then he was just like, yeah, no, you're not actually going to get this. I'm going to give you $500,000. And gave the winner actual money. And even some of the other people who were like top 5 or top 3, I think they also received money. So it's like that generosity, like the point of him, a part of his vision was to be able to be generous, to be able to give to others. And I think that's a part of him being a global phenomenon. And the other thing that I want to get into as far as a part of this journey of like looking at him as far as how he became a global phenomenon is he embraced the imperfections and just started. He didn't have a whole studio set up. He just started as like his desktop in his room. Minecraft. The video that went viral was him counting to 100,000. Like, literally streamed himself counting to 100,000. And it took him 40 hours to be able to complete that. Yet he did it, and that's what went viral. And it still gets comments to this day.
I think we should do that.
Why?
Because think about it. Why invent the wheel?
Why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah. Let's just see if it works. Let's see if, like I ain't gonna lie, that might be one of my goals for 2025, like, to do to count to 100,000 in my room. It's, like you said, be live stream.
Okay.
And I just have water and stuff in my room and just do that.
Wow.
And I feel like, honestly, that might work.
And you not gonna eat?
He didn't eat?
I don't think so.
I think he ate. Probably take a break, like, 10-minute break, y'all.
Wow.
101.
Please. Only got to 100 and needed a break.
Why not?
You know what? Like we said, embrace imperfections and just start. And another tip that I actually had was research. So just like you said, why reinvent the wheel? If this is something that has worked, why not do it as for yourself? However, I will say with that, although yes, don't want to reinvent the wheel, the question is, why would you be doing that? Yes, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but what is the purpose for it?
The purpose is to go viral.
Okay. So that kind of goes back to our last episode where we spoke on, if you do go viral, will you create more content based off of you counting to 100,000?
But that's the thing. Is MrBeasts still counting to 100?
No, he's giving away hundreds of thousands.
Just because you go viral, so don't mean you got to keep making them videos. Because that means he will still be... He did that video in... 2017. I watched some of his other videos. He used to game. He don't even game no more. So I feel like just in life, you can always pivot. Look at the Walmart brand. They done have many different logos.
That is true.
Look at McDonald's. They used to have playgrounds. Now they got a sophisticated restaurant. I don't know where Ronald McDonald is.
Yeah, no, there's no Happy Meal kids places.
You know? Mm-hmm. So I think just like these corporations can change brands, we can change brand as well. Granted, we do need to grow community. Mm-hmm. I was watching a video, but I don't think I have ever seen like a YouTuber not have something that got them. Like something just to push them out there. Mm-hmm. Then they kept on making their... But it was one video that popped them up. Yeah. You need a viral video to get your eyes, but you also need solid content before and after to keep them.
Okay. So you need a balance of the two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we making videos with 100, 200 views on my YouTube. Look, I've been posting for a year. Ain't nobody like, ooh, wait.
Yeah, and he went 5 years before he had...
No, but he had one, though. Without these viral moments, we might not even know who he was for real.
True.
So, that's what I'm saying. That's all.
Very true.
But once he got viral, then he kept on, like, making good content. I even say, like, for us, because I know you, just for real, you have a lot of ventures. You're a very smart lady. But I want to ask a question. Why haven't, like, through all your stuff, why do you think you haven't made it to the 5-year mark with content?
As far as with my personal brand?
Personal, just for real, YouTube.
Oh, inconsistency. For sure. That's definitely my reasoning. And that's because I put value into other things that I'm doing than I do in my personal brand.
So what's the difference between your stuff you have going and this podcast? Like, what makes you like, okay, yeah, I'm going to put 5 years in for real?
Because this is with someone else. I have that. There's that accountability there.
But I've been on track team before. I had people quit on me all the time. People told me that all the time. Like, oh, we're going to be on this team together. We're going to rock out. We're going to go.
Well, they weren't going to possibly get married to you. So there's that. So.
That's true. But, I mean, I feel like you could easily be like one day, like, baby, I don't want to do this today. Like,
yeah, you know what you're going to say? Okay, then we're going to do it tomorrow. But this episode is coming out on Monday.
Will you still be, like, happy? Will you be happy if I be like, man, create this content today?
Probably not, but then...
Baby, I'm tired.
Okay, and then we would pray, just like we normally do. We would pray, and then we'd get to it. Or we would just do it the next day, just like we did with this episode.
Because I guess the beauty, the interesting thing, I could go from track, like, I did track for basically 5-6 years, right? And I worked out, I went hard, then I got hurt.
But you kept going.
I kept going, and then, like, I guess it's easy to be like, man, you don't run no more. But I get, now I'm, like, looking and trying to look, well, not even trying, like, seeing the bright side, like, I still had so many great accomplishments. So let's just say we do the podcast for 5 years, and we not at hotels. What's the motivation to keep going after that?
I didn't expect this episode to turn into a coaching session for me.
I'm just asking you, like, I feel like podcast is one of your big things. I'm just asking you. I mean, I can ask myself, 5 years from now, what will keep me going? I think what will keep me going is the vision for real, instead of giving up prematurely for real. And then I'm like, am I also putting in the work? Was every podcast good? Like, did 1 billion people need to hear this episode? I think this was actually one of our best episodes. We only got 3.
Okay.
So
that's okay.
It's still one of our...
Opportunity to go viral.
I think so. Like, even like, I always, like, whenever I start something new with somebody, they bring the idea, I want to see they excitement for the activity. I want to see they love for the game. After hours work, preparing, focus, right? Once I see that, I'm like, okay, I could put my after work practice focus in because it's not my goal or dream. So I can't see her saying, because I didn't come up with the vision. But I love to help a vision. The biggest thing when I do that, I don't feel like hurt. Because I'm good being number 2, helping, being a back man. But I don't want to see my hard work go to drain because one day, like, I don't want to do no more. Like, yeah, like, I can't force her to do the podcast anymore because it wasn't even my dream. So I'm just like, well, okay, you know. So I guess that's why I'm asking you, because this was like before the year ended, like, you was like, hey, babe, I want to do a podcast, but I want you to help me do it. So, like, what I'm hearing is, this is my dream, but I want you to be in my dream and help me achieve my dream.
Okay, I get what you're saying now that you've explained as far as, like, what you were meaning for that question. For me, what like you said, like, having that vision and having written down, and it's not in the sense of, like, oh, what if it doesn't happen in 5 years? It's definitely possible because I've seen it happen, and it's like, that's kind of basically what I do in my own personal branding right now, even though I'm not consistent. If I can do it with an inconsistent brand, then I can do it with a consistent podcast, you know? It would be having that vision come to life, but also new dreams that come to the big vision. Like, another part of the vision is having individually gaining new clients from this podcast. the vision is for us to do what's it called, have live podcasts in conferences and have like speaking, and it not be like a podcast, but it's just us speaking because we have this platform and people are asking us to come speak on panels, both collectively and individually. So it's like, it's a part of seeing how far this brand can go, while also just being able to express our creativity and our knowledge and skills to be able to help at least one person.
You know, when you said that, the first thing came in my mind, like, how we know that's gonna happen? You know? And I think it's valid, but I'm like, why is that the first thing on my mind? I'm like, oh yeah, that is gonna happen. Mm-hmm. I think it's just hard to see. Like, it's just her vision. So I'm like, man.
It's hard to you accept it.
I'm like, man, how that's gonna happen? Like, even for our vision, I'm like, I want my video to have X amount of but I'm like, I haven't seen it yet, so I know it's gonna happen. But that's when we come into faith. Mm-hmm. Faith and belief, right? You can't achieve a dream. I'm saying, she's saying, I want to be this. I'm like, nah, we can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I say her vision. I'm like, all right, I might not tell about, I might not see it right now, but I'm going to believe in her vision. We're going to work towards it. Mm-hmm. And then probably when the vision happens, I got to tell her, like, hey, babe, I really ain't see this happening.
Oh, please.
But since we here, I agree.
Glory be to God.
You know? But I think that's one part of partnerships and dreams that people break up because they don't believe in their partner or the goals that they have. They like, no, I don't see it. Let's just get our jobs and let's just do what's safe. And one person like, I can't do this. I gotta. And the other person's like, this is what I know. So I think it takes patience and having faith to work with somebody. If you're working with somebody to see their dreams, and also the other person have patience with the person that don't see their dreams, to help them see their dreams, but work hard enough within their dreams so they can both see the dreams.
And like you were saying, having faith, I was thinking about like the Bible story of like when God had told Moses to send 10 spies to look at to go check out the promised land and come back with like a report. And 8 of them came back, which was like, nah, man, I don't think that's going to be it. Like, I don't know how it's going to happen. They got too many army. Like, their army is really large. We're going to die. And it was only 2 people who came back and was like, no, God said that this was going to be our land. If this is what he has for us, this is what he has for us, and we're going to have faith for it. And God killed the 8 of those 8, but he made sure that those 2 who had faith and believed were able to get into the promised land. And it's kind of like what you were saying, like, even though you can't see the vision, it's having that faith and belief in that person's vision, in believing like, okay, if this is what God says, if this is the vision that God gave you, then we're gonna both have faith for this. We're both going to go into this quote unquote promised land for our brand. Even though I may not be able to see it, because I'm pretty sure the thousands of other Israelites who did not go with them to go see the land probably was like, well, we got 8 people saying this and 2 people saying that. Who do we believe? But it's like you have to believe the 2 because they're the 2 who have the faith.
I like that. That's how I guess I like that. I was just thinking about our process with our podcast and how I said I really didn't want to promote it until about 6 months and the reason I said that, I just want to get our foot in the ground, and then when we put it to the world, like, all the naysay, like, oh, we've been doing it for 6 months, so we really don't need to hear you right now.
You went from 10 episodes to 6 months.
Yeah, I don't know. 6 months sound better in my ear now.
Oh, wow.
The reason I said 10 episodes because Sherelle, her most podcasts she did straight is 6. So I was like, if we do 10, we broke a streak already. But I'm saying 6 months. Because a lot of people like, oh, y'all got a podcast.
Yeah, are you going to keep it?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, well, we got 6 months, so 6 months of content, so enjoy.
And it's also kind of like how businesses, they say that there's, like, I think more than 50% of businesses quit before they hit 2 years or before they even hit 1 year or after 1 year.
Facts.
And it's like, That's the same thing as a podcast. A podcast is a business. You can make money doing a podcast. We haven't made any money yet, guys, by the way. But you can make money having a podcast. So we have to treat this as a business. Like, I know for me, the hardest thing that I'm learning to break right now is that wanting for shift after a certain amount of time. Like, if something stops exciting me, I'm like, okay, let's wrap this up. But it's like, because I've never had something long term. Like, when you go to school, when you go to public school, you go to elementary for 5 years, then you shift to middle school for 3 years, then you shift to high school for 4 years, then you shift to college for 4 years. And it's like, each of those are like little seasons of your life. And so then now when I'm like, I'm just speaking for me, my perspective of life. Now that I'm an adult and I have my own business, it's like, oh, I can't just leave this after 4 years, or I can't just leave this after a semester of working with these people. Like, I have to stay committed to my clients because they're asking for me. I have to stay committed to this podcast because this is something that I have started and that I see a future for. And so that's where I would say, like, is going to be like the challenge for me is staying committed, not based off of a season, but based off of this is something that we've committed to, at least for 5 years, you know?
Yeah. I think that might be harder because you was homeschooled too.
Exactly. And when I was homeschooled, we only had class. What was like college? We had class twice a week, like went to class twice a week. Why are you laughing? He's laughing as you don't even know what homeschooling is like. So
they had a chill schedule. That's the only reason I'm laughing. Because I'm like, I could only imagine just going to school twice a.
I mean, it was just like college. It was literally just like college. That's why I was like, college was like too easy for me because I'm like, it's just the same thing. The whole syllabus and going to class and then you leave. Yeah. Why are you laughing?
Y'all forget the part of college. She say, you go to class, then you sleep all day. or do whatever you want to do. I never had the privilege. Anywho, leading points from the podcast, I say what I'm hearing from Sherelle, and then she give her point. But mine is just start. You got to start somewhere. When you first start, have that vision where you want to be at. And the thought of quitting should never just be in your mind for real. You just be like, hey, I'm going to do it until I'm successful. Oh, it's not working. Well, I need to change it until I'm successful. Then when you get successful, continue that recipe. Keep going. Keep make it exciting. Have yourself rewards. But I say keep going. And when you helping someone with their dreams and visions, be patient. Understand it's not your vision, but you still need to have the same effort and time you will put in your vision.
My takeaways are similar to Davon's. Is number one, embrace the imperfections and just start. Don't try to get everything perfected and then start. Just start with the vision. Start with what you have right now, because all that you have is all that you need. God has already given you what you need to be able to start to do what you need to do. If he's giving you the vision, then he's giving you the resources and skills to be able to do it. And if you don't have the skills, the ability to learn the skills. The other takeaway is to, of course, have a vision for why you're creating and what your end goal is. Have an end goal. Set a timer as far as like where you want to be at in a certain time of your life. Like we said, 5 years. Have a 5-year goal plan. This is what I want to see in 5 years. Whether it's you want to see your numbers increase in 5 years, or you want to be in a different place, environment, mindset wise, have a 5-year plan. And this goes for business owners, entrepreneurs, people who have side hustles, content creators, anybody really. My last tip that I would give is to research. Keep looking into how you can be better, be innovative, and be ahead of the game. And sometimes it's not even about being innovative. Sometimes it's creating something that has already been created, not reinventing the wheel. Like MrBeast, he went viral from counting to 100,000. Maybe that's something that you do, but maybe you make it different. Counting to 100,000 while sitting in mud, something different. But you are being innovative, doing your research, doing something that you enjoy creating, but also something that's just fun, because Because honestly, we just need to be having fun in life as well. We hope that you enjoyed this episode of Create to Live podcast. Make sure you tune in every single week to our podcast we release on Mondays. Subscribe, follow us. We are on Spotify podcasts as well as Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio podcasts. If you want to follow us on social media, my social media is bluewall.media. That's BLUWALL.media on Instagram.
You can follow me at Davon.Booker, BOOKR, whole time. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you again for tuning in to Create to Live podcast.